Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. Now it is time to dissect some specifics of the last manga chapter 58, since there is some new information in there that is really important. If you are new to the channel, please check out my Ultra Instinct Goku vs Moro rematch video and chapter 58 review to get all caught up on this discussion, since we are going to piggyback off of what was already said in those videos. In this UI Goku vs Moro rematch video I did before the new chapter came out, I gave Moro the advantage and said it looked like he will win, but after last chapter, it only strengthens this idea, and before Goku fans freak out, if they didn't already over the title, realize that when Goku loses, it's always a good thing, not just for Goku's character, but for the overall health of the series as a whole. In Dragon Ball Super, they have written themselves into a hole that they are trying to desperately get out of, and I will cover that in its entirety in a separate video, but to quickly say what I mean by this statement is, there is only one clear thing now in the show that matters for characters being relevant. Power. Just huge, ridiculous amounts of power. When you only have one metric to make characters relevant to a series, it creates a real lack of substance for the show and the characters that are in it. Look here at this wonderful official Dragon Ball Super wallpaper, and it is clear that Super is the Goku and Vegeta show, but clearly there are so many characters behind them. Really interesting characters too, that haven't had much importance to the series, and then we end up with a somewhat boring, predictable ending to an arc. However, it started to shift in the Tournament of Power, adding a team element to try and make the show not just about only one of the main characters, and adding an ability like Ultra Instinct that isn't just about power. They began on the right path in storytelling. However, we needed a major shift in story writing after the Tournament of Power, and we got it in Toyotaro's manga, which is his baby despite Toriyama having his name attached to it. So the next step to make Super's story interesting was to create a villain that makes the one metric that all of the characters are based on irrelevant, which is power. Think about it, if everyone's power level doesn't matter because all that does is make Moro stronger, then all of these characters are in essence finally equal, which means we can finally start building on these characters from the ground up to make each and every one of them important and relevant to the show, something I can't see anyone disagreeing with. For instance, I'm not a huge Piccolo fan. I like him, don't get me wrong, as he has been vitally important to the show dating back to the very beginning, so casting characters like this off to the side time and time again because of not having enough power is hurtful to the overall health and success of the show. Then last chapter, he not only was irrelevant to the series, Piccolo stated himself standing next to Gohan when did the gap in power become so huge? Even Piccolo feels like he isn't important, not just the fans, and that is a massive problem for all of the characters. So we fixed this situation by taking the strongest fighters in the universe and the most popular characters in the show and put them up against a villain where their powers mean nothing. As they are now, they can't win. The introduction of Moro as a villain, in my opinion, is the single most important idea in this series. An ancient wizard that is known as a planet eater and travels around the universe dining on the very best energy. The higher your power level, the less effective you are against Moro because of his magic. The incredible power level of these characters only makes him exponentially stronger as he absorbs their life force. This is exciting because we are finally back to something that should have happened a long time ago, where techniques, abilities, and the experience, not just power, are the single greatest divide in who wins in a fight. This is why Goku went off to train with Beerus to get Ultra Instinct again, as he felt it might help against Moro when he starts to absorb his energy. Then Vegeta went to learn Spirit Control and a specific technique to counter Moro's magic. These are exciting times because this means each character can develop techniques that are important and define them with their own uniqueness. We needed to stop the transformation battle where the strongest fighters kept one-upping each other with new hair colors. It became a joke of the series, and slowly it has been getting fixed, which brings us to Goku losing against Moro because Ultra Instinct just isn't enough. Hardcore Goku fans, trust me when I say this, the outcome will be better for everyone. This is if Toyotaro can pull it off and continues on this path that he has set up for us. It means that Goku needs to become stronger in different ways, just like every other character in the series. So for story purposes, we absolutely need Goku to take the L on this one. It would make the show so much better because we can start looking at the entire Z fighters as a whole and finally developing them to contribute in an important way. The question is, will Toyotaro actually do it? Will he write in that Goku loses against Moro? I think that the writing is already on the wall. As we know, Goku showed up first to save the heroes of Earth from the desperate situation they were in against Moro's army. Usually the main character that has first crack at the main villain doesn't fare too well, especially when we know that another character is waiting to come in with a specific technique to counter the only thing making Moro unstoppable, his magic. Well, also Moro is like no other villain. Even when you get past this magic, he is nigh immortal and extremely powerful from all the countless planets he has absorbed. Last chapter we saw enough to get a real idea how Ultra Instinct will stack up against Moro. I will say the positives of Ultra Instinct first, and what Goku appears to have achieved. It was noted when Goku first showed up that Gohan and Piccolo couldn't sense Goku's energy. So was this due to Ultra Instinct alone, or combining it with something else? If we remember back to Goku and Vegeta's first training with Whis, they were leaking energy out all over the place. Whis told them they needed to keep the energy inside so their opponent doesn't sense it. Then we had both Goku and Vegeta calm themselves for a moment and focus on keeping in their ki. Then when they engaged in battle again, they were stunned at the result. This was the very beginning of their ki control training with an angel. So this concept isn't new, especially since Goku just spent 6 months inside a time chamber being trained by the angel Maris. So it is likely that Goku has achieved this to a far greater level now, and thus why Gohan and Piccolo couldn't sense his energy. Technically, this doesn't have to do with Ultra Instinct, it's realistically a core part of their training. So we can't say that this is a result of Ultra Instinct or that Ultra Instinct will prevent Moro from absorbing Goku's energy. Remember at the Tournament of Power, everyone could sense Ultra Instinct Goku's energy and the heat he was emitting because of it. What likely is the case now is Goku is finally just strong enough and has the proper energy control as well as keeping his emotions in check to now wield Ultra Instinct at will. Goku powering down in the manga and calming himself, then going into Ultra Instinct is basic energy control that Whis was training them for. The real benefit with this is your opponent can't tell how strong you are, which has its own advantages, along with you likely have better endurance and efficiency to wield the power you have. Vegeta is doing something similar with his spirit control training on Yardrat. However, just because you can't sense Goku's energy doesn't mean Moro's magic can't absorb it, and I feel like Goku at this time is betting on being faster and overwhelming Moro with Ultra Instinct before Moro can drain all his power. Goku said, "It's all about letting the body move on instinct, so it might work against Moro even when he starts absorbing his energy." This means Goku didn't think Ultra Instinct would prevent Moro from gathering his energy, just that it could still be useful when he does. Now that we know what Goku is thinking and where his head is at, this doesn't bode well for a great outcome or him actually getting the win. Goku also said last chapter that he still doesn't fully understand Moro and that he might be hiding his true power. Goku is just winging it the best he can, and this does sometimes work out for him. After all, he is one of the main characters and have pulled off wins in impossible scenarios before, just not against a villain like Moro who was ready for anything Goku could do against him. After Moro taunted Goku last chapter, killing Sagambo in the process to get him to reveal Ultra Instinct, Moro calmly said this is no mortal ability, meaning he is aware of abilities of the gods, and that shouldn't be a big surprise since Moro has existed for millions of years. On top of that, Moro is the most calculating villain in Dragon Ball who will sacrifice his army as if they are pawns to achieve his end goal. Moro told Goku that these aren't friends, they are soldiers, and any great general will place them where needed to get the victory. Just like we still have 7-3 who was spared death at Moro's hands only to be sent back to the ship to heal because he requires 7-3's copy abilities once again. I did do an entire video on why Moro saved 7-3, and to explain that into 2 sentences from what we learned last chapter, it appears to be true. I seriously doubt 7-3 is there to copy Ultra Instinct, and we aren't even sure if something like that can be copied, as it has to have its limits to what you can and can't copy. However, there is one specific ability that Moro needs from either Goku or the Grand Supreme Kai to achieve his end goal. There was further foreshadowing when Goku first showed up. Moro told us what he needs when he grinned and said, "The one who employed instant teleportation on Namek, yes?" Moro knows there are two among them that possess this ability, Goku and the Lord of Lords. This ability is crucial for Moro as it will allow him to teleport to other places both inside and outside the known universe. Moro can't use a spaceship to get to the world of the Kais, but if 7-3 can copy instant transmission from Goku, who has been there, or the Grand Supreme Kai, then Moro can finally start his assault on the gods. He can finally get the revenge on the Kais, who imprisoned him for 10 million years, and absorb the entire Kai homeworld full of creation energy, giving Moro untold powers. The limits on where Moro can go will be limitless, especially as 7-3 can copy the Lord of Lords abilities to Kai somewhere, and this can be used to travel to even different universes. So I expect Goku to lose and for Moro to sandbag the fight until 7-3 can copy a teleportation technique. This is where the losses begin and Moro shows his true powers and goals. I actually hope this arc takes a little of a dark turn and maybe Moro kills some of the Z fighters by absorbing them completely before Vegeta can arrive. I do like the idea that if Moro absorbs your soul, that you don't just die, but you are trapped inside of him forever, meaning a wish from the Earth Dragon Balls can't bring them back. I actually think it's possible that the final battle against Moro won't be on Earth, but actually the homeworld of the Kais, just like how DBZ ended. One final tribute to DBZ. As we know, there have been several of them in this arc. This is why Goku must lose to Moro and the real losses begin for our heroes. Now we just have to wait and see what happens next in the Dragon Ball Super manga. Hope everyone is doing awesome out there and staying safe. I wish everyone the very best. As always, I love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button. Also, please subscribe to support the channel and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.